My name's Tim Hogan. I'm the Australian History and Literature Librarian at the State Library of Victoria. For me it's a real joy because I'm a history buff, a culture buff, a sport buff, so I get to integrate all those interests and passions. I've brought along a very wide range of material to do with Australian rules football, and Melbourne of course is the home of Australian rules football. And one of the things that interests me about the football material is the way it intersects with art and literature and culture. It's not just books about the best ever players or the great clubs. This is the Australasian Sketcher from the 10th of September 1881, an illustrated newspaper. This was a fundraising football match for the widow of Marcus Clarke, who incidentally was a librarian here at the State Library, as well as being a famous writer. It was well supported and attended by the artistic and bohemian community in Melbourne in the 1880s. They wore extraordinarily ornate outfits. They looked like they'd come straight from the ballet or the opera. Goodness knows how they played football, and I believe they raised a tidy sum of money for poor Mrs. Clarke and the family. It's been noted as something distinctive about Australian rules football, the interest of women in the game from very early times. This is a really interesting image from Melbourne Punch in 1896, and it's showing the aftermath of a particularly violent football game between North Melbourne and Collingwood. And you can see how passionate the fans are here with the allegedly appalling display of umpiring. This is 1896. It shows that back then there were plenty of women attending the football and very passionate about their team. And one of the main people about to line up and hit the umpire is a woman in the crowd here. In addition to women watching the game, some women wanted to play the game, and of course this was very contentious in the 1920s, and the newspaper Table Talk had a wonderful pictorial spread showing women at a football game with the headline, "Should Women Play Football?" The Women's Football League in Victoria started in the 1980s, and we have some photographs of more recent times of women playing the game. Two of the items I really like are some early collections of cartoons by notable cartoonists. They show the depiction of fans to some extent and the passion they have and commentary about how rabid or fanatical fans are. This was a series of cartoons done in 1921 by a chap called Hal Guy, and one of the fans he's depicted him as the Bolshevik Barracker. And you can see him here depicted as like a bomb-throwing revolutionary anarchist. And as you can see, it is very, very fragile, but it's been digitised so you can view it from home on the internet. I love that mix of politics and fanatical football fan. Well, what we're looking at here is some cartoons produced by Sam Wells, who was a noted newspaper cartoonist in Melbourne in the 1920s. And this cartoon here is all about getting the barracker ready for the game. So he's training like the footballers train. So he's all ready to go to the game and follow his team with all that passion. The football collection is incredibly important for anyone who's studying the history of the game. It enables you to delve right down into the social impact of the game and the administrative history of the game, the on-field and off-field history of the game. So this library is the best library in the world for that sort of material. You could call it the epicentre of football material.